Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we give motivational and inspirational tips about life, small business, wisdom,
health, wealth, finance, relationships.
It's about being the best you that you can possibly be. Hashtag Untrapped. Welcome to the Untrapped podcast. I am your host, Keith Kalfas.
5 things you should carefully consider, especially if you're young. And what do I mean by young? I mean if you're in your 20s, right? Maybe you're in your teens watching this. Maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. Young is a state of mind. It's an attribute. But these 5 things I'm going to read to you right now, and I believe this is really important. And why should you listen to me? Because I'm 35, dog, and I know a little bit about this stuff. And I believe that my heart's in the right place, and I hope the right person hears this, man. So I'll say them real quick, and then I'll go through them slow. Number 1 is be selfish and obsessed with your own success. Number 2 is get away from loser friends immediately and make new friends. Number 3 is just because you date her doesn't mean you got to marry her, and definitely don't move in with her. Number 4 is get out of bad relationships. Just get out. Number 5 is be practical and realistic and take baby steps. Doing that will actually, if you want to chase a big dream, being practical and realistic is the good foundation. Okay, so back to number 1. Be selfish and obsessed with your success. If you have goals and dreams and you're a young workaholic and you like to work out and go to the gym, maybe you're part of like some organization, I don't know. Maybe you want to get a degree. Maybe you want to travel and go to some vocational school or learn a trade or get into tech. And you got these dreams. I promise you, if you're not selfishly obsessed with those things, the people around you, the negative people around you who don't support that, because a lot of people are negative, like by nature, selfish by nature, right? It's all about them. If you don't guard that like a hawk, I'm telling you, years will start to go by and your dream will slip away and you'll look back. Be selfishly obsessed with your own success. If you get an opportunity to leave the state and go travel and do something, just do it. Do whatever the hell makes you feel like it's getting closer to you and guarding that success. Because I promise you, years will go by. Like if you stay in some shitty dead-end job that you hate and you don't know what you want to be in, and you're not actively trying to find a better job or actively trying to start a business or actively trying to do something to change your situation, years will go by and nothing will change, and you're going to regret is very, very, very costly. I have some regrets in my life, okay? Which brings me to number 2. Get away from loser friends. If you have friends that do drugs, they drink excessively, they party, they're bringing drugs in your car or your truck. You go to a party and there's like hard drugs. People are doing hard drugs, getting into trouble, anything, the worst types of trouble. Get the fuck away from them immediately. I don't care if you knew these people since you were in 5th grade. They're not your friend. Because you get in trouble one time, it could cost you 10 years of your life. And God knows how much money. It could cost a life. It could cost your life. It could cost you going to jail or prison or anything. That a decade of your life will go by and you'll look back fighting to get out of that situation and you'll be like, that wasn't worth it. I could be in a completely different place in my life right now if I didn't make that stupid ass mistake. So these people aren't your friends, and you're better off being alone than being with somebody who's a loser and doing drugs. And if you do drugs, you got a friend you do drugs with, get the fuck away from them. They're not your friend. You have a bad chemistry. Make new friends. I mean, period. That's all there is to it. I'm not talking about weed. Weed is like, I'm talking about drugs, man. Okay, so brings me to number 3. Just because you date her doesn't mean you gotta marry her. Okay? And definitely don't move in with her. Okay, so I understand there's life situations, scenarios. It's economically tough. If you're not making a lot of money yet, you might live with somebody that you're dating. But don't get a twist in your head. Just like you're living together. You know, I believe in God. And I believe in soul ties. Like if you're not married to somebody and you're sleeping with them, you're creating these soul ties. It's twisting your perceptions and your reality to thinking that this is real, right? If you know in your heart of hearts that you're not supposed to be with this person and they're hindering your evolution, or you're selfishly afraid to be alone, and you're holding back their evolution. You guys have already evolved each other. Get the fuck out. Do whatever you got to do, because I promise you 5, 6, 7 years will go by and you'll look at your life and you'll be like, you can't fucking take that back. You can't change that, right? I know somebody who's close to me who spent like 7 years in a shitty relationship, and that's 7 years of their life gone, and because they were too afraid to leave. Get out. You gotta go. You gotta have that conversation, and you gotta get the fuck out, dude. You gotta get out. If you know that you know, right? And I'm talking about like a healthy marriage, which is a good foundation where you're like, you're evolving each other constantly and consistently in a positive way, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like dumbass relationships that are holding back you from being selfish and obsessed with your success, right? And getting away from loser friends. Okay, so number 4, get out of bad relationships. Same thing. This doesn't even have to be an actual relationship with somebody you're dating or in a relationship with. I'm talking about like your own family, your own people that you think are your best friends. If you've got a bad chemistry with somebody and you're going to need to spend 2-3 months or 2-3 years away from that person because maybe you're not mature enough, or you don't have the capacity to draw your line in the sand and develop a really strong, healthy boundary, and you need to find yourself. If that person is very toxic and you're pulling you down, you got every right to pluck them out of your life for a few years. Or if you don't have the power to spend less time with them, you have to get them out of your life, because years of your life will go by and you'll look back and you say, I can't believe I let that fucking vampire suck you down for all those years. And here's the next thing. Sometimes these can be people that you love, right? And you want their love, and you crave their love. You need their love. You desire their love. Yet with their love comes a lot of just cutting you at the knees and belittling you and hurting your dreams. These people can mentally and emotionally, psychologically damage you and fuck you up, right? So it's very important to get crystal clear and as soon as possible, and get selfishly obsessed with your own success as quickly as possible, because the world's not nice. Well, the world's not nice, but the world can be beautiful, and your dreams can come true. I'm telling you that, which brings me to number 5, is be practical and realistic and take baby steps. Now, I'm not talking about you need to be realistic. No, I'm talking about like if you want to chase a dream, but you're not realistically and practically setting up the structures and the habits in place and the boundaries, getting rid of negative people, being obsessed with your own success, getting away from loser friends. If you're not doing even those things, like, and you think one day you're going to be in a fucking Lamborghini, like, it's not going to happen. Another thing about being practical and realistic, say you want to have a great physical physique. You want to work out and become extremely in well shape. Yet you don't even like go to the gym. You work out at home in your basement like a day a week and you do it half-ass. But then one day you go to the gym and you see these people who are like really actually seriously committed to their physical health, and these people are just in phenomenal shape, and you're like, oh, if you want to be successful in business, get around other business owners who are really doing it, and they're in the grind and the hustle every day. Get in that environment. That's one thing I mean by being practical and realistic and taking baby steps. If you think all of a sudden one day the clouds are going to part and then this big blessing is going to come on you and you're just going to be balling out of control, unless you're like the 0.01% of people that are so incredibly talented, they got a really high IQ, or maybe they can sing and play the guitar so amazing that everybody around them, not just their friends and family, but like even strangers are like, oh my, like you're freaking incredible. Or you're so good at talking to people and selling and convincing and connecting with people that it's just obvious that you would crush it in sales, right? So I don't have to go on and on. You can extrapolate any of that. But what I mean is be practical and realistic, which means get in the environment around the people who are already doing what you want to do. And don't smoke your own brochures and fill your own head with bullshit and smoke. I used to do that when I was younger. I was in debt. My life sucked so bad. And I didn't realize I had the world by the balls. I didn't even know it because I was in my early 20s, and I literally was thinking that one day I was going to just, things would open up for me and I would become rich. I mean, it's probably not going to fucking happen. And so if I could go back and speak to my younger self when I was like 21, 22, 23, I would grab myself by the throat and I would bitch slap myself for like 4 hours straight till my whole face was red, and then I'd bitch slap myself from like the other side until like both my cheeks were beet red and I was crying, and I'd be like, you fucking idiot. You know, it's funny how when you're naive, you know how they said, what, ignorance is bliss? It's true, because some of the most amazing times in your life, I mean, I never got into drugs or alcohol, but I was at the club once with my friend, and we were pretty drunk, and I think like Akon or something was playing. I see you whining and dining, and I go up in the club, and there's like, you know, 1,000 people dancing, because I lived like near these nightclubs, and I don't know, I had some good times with my friends when I was younger, and when you can completely let go and just really, really have fun, you're living that like high type of like nightlife, and you think that like you feel like you're the shit, and it's like the best feeling in the world. I think those times are really, 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 really important. I remember when I met my wife, dude. Well, I thought I was the shit, bro. Like, I thought I was the fucking shit, bro. I was wearing like this Rockaware jacket with the collar up, right? And I had like my shit all trimmed out like this, and I had these like Rockaware fucking shoes with the tongue sticking out, and I was so egotistical. I was a bartender, right? And she was, dude, she was like, not that she's not now at all, but dude, she was so hot. She had this hot, bitchy, kind of stuck up personality. I couldn't explain it. Like, she thought she was the shit, right? And I wanted to, and that was like challenging to me, and I was challenged, and it was like, we just had this amazing chemistry. And I don't know, I'm going off track here, but it's interesting. My wife and I actually were really, really close, and we kind of grew apart, and it was tough. And we came close, grew apart, and now we're really, really close again. And I think that's what's really cool about marriage, is that you can evolve together like this, because no matter what, and I think sticking things out, being realistic and being practical, you know, so there's the dichotomy, is when is something, or a business or a life circumstance, saying get the fuck out completely, and then how do you know? Let me know in the comments below. When do you know is something that you should stick with it and see this thing out until it really blossoms and blooms, and have patience? Gary Vaynerchuk, he said there's a thin line between persistence and delusion. There's a thin line between persistence and delusion. How do you know whether you're in a relationship, whether what? I'm going to end this video. It's Keith Kalfas. Thanks so much. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. My friend, I wish you the best of success. I wish you a phenomenal year. And stay on that hustle, dog. Later.